Okay, we're going to be kind of talking a lot about Final Cut Pro 10. Oh, you know, I always see the X there. I always call it X instead of 10, and it's Roman numeral. And it took me a while to get used to saying 10. And I've been actually keeping track of it for a very long time because even before it was reported to come out, because this is a totally new rewrite. It first come out in 1999, the first version. That was Mac OS 9 actually, and it was really overdue for a rewrite, total redo. And let me give you some of the specs for you guys that are not up to date. Of course, newly rewritten, 64 bits. You can now use more than 4 gigs of your RAM because that's the limitation on 32-bit soft applications. Multi-core aware, it can now use all your cores, no matter how many you have. And using Grand Central, that's the thing that make you multi-core aware. Now it is written for Cocoa. Before it was written in Carbon. It has GPU utilization, which I believe is OpenCL, but don't quote me on that, for effect, preview, and rendering. And what's nice about it is that, you load your files up in there, whatever files you have, and you can almost immediately edit them. You don't have to wait around for the program to convert it over to a different file format depending on what you're using. Pretty much, you can go ahead and edit, and it just renders in the background. Before you kind of have to wait. Now, of course, if you're using a tape system, now you're gonna you will have to wait because you have to import it by usually FireWire, and you got to run the tape all the way through forever long, which is capture. It uses I forgot to mention this before. It uses what's called AV Foundation. Now, originally, I think it came from the iOS, believe it or not, and now they got it for Mac as well. So if you guys have iPads that use iMovie, it's kind of something like that, which is, I didn't know at the time. Now, I actually been using it for quite a while, probably 8 to 12 hours, and I'm going to give you my initial assessments. I was like practically blown away because I have never used a software package before made for a more advanced level, whether it be video editing, audio editing, or whatever. And then just from a beginner's standpoint, before I was using iMovie, I wasn't particularly that great using it. I admit I didn't know all the features, but actually the first hour and a half, I was already getting the basic edits, and now after using it all this 8 to 12 hours later, I'm already getting in some of the advanced stuff like color correction. I admit I don't know everything about it, but at least I know a little bit about it. Okay, see, I gotta use my show notes. I admit I can't remember everything, so I'm kind of going everything. Okay. So if anybody's coming from a basic editing, from iMovie, they want something more. Okay, I know this is just for a Mac. I'm sorry for the other platforms, but if you're coming from iMovie, you want something more powerful, by all means, take a look at the Final Cut Pro 10. If you're thinking, Adobe Premiere Elements or whatever, it kind of blows that away, okay? But I'm going to tell you all the bad parts about it, because there is some in here. And like I said, it's great if you're a beginner going into intermediate and advanced, but for the people that are already video editing professionals that were using Final Cut Pro 7, which was the most recent before it came to Final Cut Pro 10, you probably want to wait a while, because they took out a lot of features. And right now on the internet, oh my gosh, it's the pro editors right now are nearly rioting, believe it or not. They're making the petitions online and everything else, which is understandable because a lot of their stuff has been taken out. And for instance, in Final Cut Pro 10, you cannot open Final Cut Pro 7 files. And I think the main reason for that is because it's changed so much, rewritten in a standard that Final Cut Pro 7 does not understand. Because remember, Final Cut Pro 7 has been around since 1999, so it's has all that old code in there. It can't be, transitioned. Another complaint they had is no tape in and out. Now there is a way to import it using Firewire. There is, but really no tape out, because a lot of TV broadcasters use tape out. Supposedly they have a program that does both, third-party software. I think they call it duck out or something. No multicam editing, and I admit I don't know a lot about it. I guess it uses multiple cameras, and that was actually one of the biggest things. The two biggest things was cannot import 7 Cut Pro 7 and no multi-camera editing. Cannot be 6 foot opened. I think I covered that. Okay, now, Apple actually already put out, and let me see if I can find it. I meant to write this down, and I think it's on Mac Rumors. Apple actually released a kind of an official thing for some of these advanced video editors, what they can do to fix this, and hopefully that's in here. And oh, here we go. I meant to write this down. Some of it got written down already. Of course, with really newly released software, it does take a while, for the bugs to be worked out. And let me see right here. And I don't have it here. Okay, I might cover that a little bit later then. But some of the things they said you can do, I think what it was is some of the functions have been hidden. They either changed their name, it was hidden from the user, so Apple kind of released what you can do to get all these things fixed. And probably I'm not going to probably do this right now because I don't have that website pulled up. I meant to write that down, but I'm going to tell you my own experiences. It is a bit buggy because I pretty much, though, the whole editing process was fast and speedy. The only problems I had, it only crashed once during the editing process. But the export was probably the biggest part for me, which is exporting, rendering into the file, and then saving it as a file. And I had a lot of trouble with that. Now, another big drawback with Final Cut Pro 10 is you can it only exports in ProRes MOV file, so it means really large file sizes. In fact, I had a 20-minute video that was 7 gigs, which is way too big for most uses. So you got to use their $50 add-on compressor attachment, and you can render it in different file sizes, different formats. And the compressor module is kind of in itself kind of buggy. They did redo it, not as much, or they should have done a lot more to it to make it a little bit easier to use. Besides those problems, it's some great software. And believe it or not, I do have a screencast that I made showing some of the features, and some of them are really nice. Of the software, I'm going to show you